I want to thank you, but also criticise you because now my daughter is a big Man City fan, and I'm very annoyed about this. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Yahoo Footballing Weekly. What a season it's been with me, Yahoo columnist Neil Humphreys.
And me, Yahoo editor Chia and Keong. 43 episodes you have stayed with us. Thank you so much. You know, from last August to now, June, 10 months. Wonderful. It's been steadily growing. Our audience has been steadily growing. It's all thanks to you. Thanks for your support. And for now, we have a special guest to end off this season. We have StarHub's Head of Consumer Business Group, Johan, Buse.
Hello, everyone. And let's make it a real special one today.
Absolutely. Now, I just want to preempt this a little bit. Before the season started, I think it was the curtain raiser, I met the StarHub guys at the National Stadium. You did as well, right?
Yeah,
we were there. And they said to us, we've got this great white box coming, I remember. And I was a bit... yeah, whatever. Right? And we said, we've got this great podcast coming.
Yeah,
you know, and it was a bit, whatever. And here we are, 43 episodes later. The StarHub box is fantastic.
Fantastic.
We think this podcast is fantastic, but that's not for us to say.
It is.
So, Johan, one season in, StarHub, no one is paying me to say this. I've said it on this podcast. I've said it on my radio show. I think the StarHub content has finally revolutionized EPL watching in Singapore for the digital generation, for my daughter's generation. Tell us about the season. How's it been for you?
Well, I think it was an amazing season. I mean, if you look at all the games and the action, I think it was one of those where, you know, last minute, our friends from Manchester City overtook my favorites, Arsenal. Pain. But no, it has been a real great season. I think we're really delighted that we managed to bring it in a different way. And the only thing I can say to that today is we don't stop there. We've got a bunch of things lined up for season 2 to make it even better, because after his white box, actually we launched a black box, which is even nicer. It has the Bang & Olufsen sound and got more features. And we're going to launch next season 3 more unique features. So for example, next season, finally my favorite, you can choose camera position.
From your sofa, you can effectively be the match director.
Yes, you are the match director right there and then. So if there's any doubt about who does what where, you're in control.
We do the VAR ourselves. You don't need the
so that's one of them.
That's amazing.
Coming. And then, of course, I was personally very happy to see games in 4K finally on PL. I mean, it makes such a big difference. And then if you do the right sound system and everything. So, boom.
Great.
Wonderful. Are there any challenges that you faced along the way which you thought you have tried hard to overcome?
It was a little bit like, how would I say that? I got one guy in my team, he's a Middlesbrough fan. And he was very keen this year, like, oh, maybe Middlesbrough makes it to the Premier League. What I'm trying to say is if you make it to the next league, it is always a bit of adapt and learn.
Yep.
So there were a few things which, I definitely would like to avoid for next season, which we can do better, which we're working very hard on in the summer break. So if everyone goes for a summer break, we work extra hard to tweak and upgrade some techniques in the back. So that's what we're doing to make sure that this next season is even better and boom.
I mean, the obvious one, because you've addressed it publicly before, was at the opening of the season and towards the end of the season when you've got many games all at once, you've got many people downloading or streaming all at once. What was that challenge like?
No, that challenge is unique, and we did anticipate it, but we couldn't anticipate it to that level. So what you have is that first and foremost, you have a huge number of fans, viewers coming in a very short period of time. We dimensioned the systems for that, but even that was beyond our expectations. So that was challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 was, especially in the last game, that people want to see different games. So they start moving around, and that brings a different system dynamics. And I mean, what we're doing here today is different than in the good old days. I think we discussed it at the start of the season as well. So it's no longer a linear channel. It's really an OTT delivery. So you can, and that's also something we need to keep an eye on, is that a customer can have 5 streams on any time, 2 devices. So there's a multiplication effect in the back, which brings load. So what we're now doing, while everyone is sort of going for a nice summer break for football, is we're upgrading, it's a bit technical, middleware and backend. And we're also enhancing the satellite broadcast system. So we're spending a huge amount of time and effort on tweaking things. So for those of you who are not so familiar, we've got 2 boxes at the moment in an app. So the white box is really great, but we now, during the season, launched a black box and an app, or an improved app. And that has new functionalities, and that, from what we've seen, is much better on the stress load. So we are quite confident, and we'll make sure that season 2 will be perfecto.
All right.
And what I noticed as well, we talked about this before, that the old ways of watching football are done.
Totally.
My daughter's generation, they want it now.
Yeah.
They want instant gratification. They don't want to wait. They don't want delays.
You want multiple
Options. She gets up Sunday mornings, Keong, and she is as happy as a pig in poop. She gets up 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. She watches all the games. She loves it. And then, because she's a Man City fan, she then goes to the Man City specific 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So my question, I suppose, is what have you noticed about Singaporean habits, viewing habits, and how would they compare or differ to other countries?
Okay, one major influencing factor, of course, is time zone and the time when games are played. There are big fan bases, right? So you got the Liverpool fan, Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal. Those are really, you can see that. And sometimes we have those games simultaneously, so that's, even more load on the system. What we see with people is that they try to really go for those games. They watch them live, but we also see, interestingly enough, sometimes we have the short and the long summaries very fast after the game. Sometimes these are watched by many more people in the game itself. Wow. And a lot of people give us very good feedback about it because it wasn't there in the past. It's something new.
Love it.
And then people, also with the stats and stuff, we see that people really enjoy that sort of dynamics. So it's something we want to bank on for next season, because next season another feature which we plan to come is Party Watch. So you can virtually watch together. And that's coming back
in a chat group.
Exactly. So that's coming back to your point. It's no longer a static channel you're watching and the game is this and then you move. No, we bring it to, OTT watching, coming to your example, is people want to be in control. They want to do things. It's much more dynamic and interactive. So those are the things we're working on.
We're going to hold some watch party watching the next season.
Yeah.
So we watch together.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll take care of that. But my daughter, in effect, because we've had guests on this show, our Lion City Sailors fan, Eddie, he talks about that they have a chat group in real time. And my daughter's doing it, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
She's chatting to 6 different friends. One guy's watching Arsenal, one guy's watching Man City.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do now.
Yeah.
So the idea of one group, one match, it's gone.
No. So that's coming as well.
Fantastic.
So more interactivity, more control with the viewer. So, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you. I can't wait. I want to thank you,
season.
but also criticise you, because now my daughter is a big Man City fan, and I'm very annoyed about this. But do let us know what you think of StarHub's coverage. I've enjoyed it. Let us know. Send all your comments, nice comments, to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, and Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Right, here we go. The recap of the season with the 3 of us. The best.
Everything's done now.
Everything's done.
Champions League, World Cup, international friendlies, all done.
All done. It went on for 27 years, but it's all done. Here we go. Keong and I are going to give our best 11s from front to back. Right. And if we've got any disagreement or different players, Johan's going to come in as a very objective referee. Right, you want to start with where? Goalkeepers?
Goalkeeper. What's yours?
All right, I will go with Nick Pope.
Oh, yes.
You got the Nick Pope?
Once you don't need Nick Pope as well.
Nick Pope, because I had to get one Newcastle player in there, right? And he was consistent. He was
33, only 33 goals let in, so at least in the league. So.
No real howlers. Yep. I mean, Edison, fantastic. Allison, fantastic. But the way they play out from the back, there's always a chance of a mistake. I just think he's been Mr. Consistent.
Yeah,
all the way
he should overtake Jordan Pickford as the England #1 goalkeeper. But no.
Any agreement, disagreement?
No, I totally agree with that.
All right, let's move on. What have we got next? Right back.
Defenders, right back. I got Kieran Trippier.
This is going to be boring. So have I. Kieran Trippier, because... but just so you know, they're the only Newcastle players I've got. So sorry, Magpies. But he's a right back. Obviously, we said that. But for me, he was probably Eddie Howe's most consistent performer. Every game. Absolutely magnificent. Yep. I'll be the first to admit, when he came back from Atletico, I thought, but fantastic.
In any other season, I would have put my team's Trent Alexander-Arnold. But at the start of the season, he was poor.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing that well.
And he's not
then-
really playing there anymore.
And then it's only after Klopp makes some tactical change and then moves him into midfield. While he's still like a nominally in the right back.
Yeah.
But he goes into midfield, and then that's where everything changes for him. And then
There's a great column about his evolution into midfield on Yahoo.
Yeah,
written by me. Written by me. So it's on the screen
Just
right
coming
now.
up, just
All
coming
right. What do you think of the right back?
I think I agree with that as well. Not to be boring, I will start later on definitely disagreeing with you. But no, I agree with that. Those two from Newcastle, but they had a good run this year, these guys.
Yeah.
Solid team.
I think it's in the later.
We're definitely going to disagree. Right, centre backs. Go on, you go first. Centre back.
Okay, for my two centre backs, number one will be John Stones.
Don't have him.
Second one will be Lisandro Martinez.
Oh wow, we've got two completely different ones. All right. Defend yours first.
Okay, so John Stones is the Franz Beckenbauer of Manchester City.
Yes, okay.
Somehow Guardiola has changed him into become one of the best playmakers from the back. So,
but you could see a flaw in this argument already.
So he should be in the midfield.
He should be in midfield, shouldn't he? Carry on.
But he's nominally in the centre back.
All right.
And then Lisandro Martinez is the bike, when he goes in for challenges, he's short for a defender, but he does it with all the
I've got no
crunching
problem with that.
tackles and everything. I'm like, okay,
good choice. At the start of the season, I was one of those who was quite critical of Martinez.
Yeah.
I thought his physique would be an issue. It wasn't. Okay, mine are completely different. I've got Saliba,
all right,
and I've got Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz, I think, flawless. From the beginning of the season to the end, how many mistakes can you remember Diaz making? And he's always the linchpin of City's defence. Sometimes it's John Stones, sometimes they rotate, put others in there. He is the one stalwart. He's never dropped. He's rarely rested. He never makes a mistake. Magnificent. The other one, Saliba, is because of the difference he made when he was out. When he was out. I think once he was injured, that was when you saw Arsenal start to decline. I'm not saying they would have won the title. I still think City would have won. But had Saliba maintained his fitness throughout the season,
he would have collapsed that quickly.
I don't doubt for a second it would have been much closer. So his importance was underlined when he was injured. Right. All right, we're different. Come on, what do you think, Mr. Johan?
I'm on the Martinez guy.
Okay.
For a bit of a different reason, because I think, coming to your point, he has a punch and a level of, maybe that's not the right word, aggression, punch in it, which I think the team needed. And I think beyond himself, he has been able to sort of elevate the teams at the right times, maybe not overall super duper consistent all the time. I also was, when he was transferred, a bit like, okay, he's going to play there. That's different. Bit of but he has something in him which I think has,
he reads the game well as well.
Yeah, true. He reads well.
No problems with that. Any other one?
No, not on that one.
Now you've got to pick one more. You've got
Saliba
Saliba, Stones, or Diaz.
I'm on Saliba because I also think, for the similar reason, I think it was very contributional at a point in time. And I also agree with you. Arsenal, I think just the selection wasn't wide enough to get it to the end of the season. And he plays a role in that.
Perfect. Well, that ties in nicely with my left back because I've picked him for the same reason. I've gone with Zinchenko because I have a soft spot. You got him?
Yeah, I've got him as well.
Okay. Well, firstly, I can't get past the Ukrainian thing. That's my sentimental choice. Right. The way he's played through the whole season with that hanging over him. Tremendous. But let me see this year. He was involved in 16 goals. Only 4 players in the Premier League were involved in more. And that's despite the fact that he missed 11 games. He also played the most forward passes of any left back in the league. But again, underlying point. When he went off, when he was injured, him and Saliba, it collapsed.
That is my same reason. I think more so than Saliba.
Yeah.
When he went off, I think the whole Arsenal missed a guy who knows how to win the title. He has won with Manchester City before.
Correct.
So that really cost Arsenal's they sort of like fell apart.
Their attacking impetus.
Sort of fell apart a bit. But that's why I think Zinchenko this season has been so crucial to Arsenal's success, early season success. That I think he goes over Andrew Robertson or goes over Luke Shaw
easily.
Easily.
I agree with that.
And also because Man City have rotated quite a bit, haven't they, since Cancelo?
Cancelo.
All right, that was an easy choice.
That was easy.
Midfield, defensive midfield. I'm going with a 4-2-3-1, roughly. Are you going with that?
I got 4-3-3.
Okay, so I got two defensive midfielders. Number one for me, Rodri. I just think Rodri walks into the team. It's the fourth consecutive campaign that Rodri has topped the charts for successful passes in midfield. Fourth season in a row, right? In the last 20 seasons, only one midfielder has completed more passes in a season. That was Jorginho in 2019. So it's a record-breaking year. Of course, he scored the winning goal in, was it the Cup final? No, it was a Champions League final.
Champions League final.
Winning goal in the Champions League final. Guardiola loves him.
Yep.
Mr. Consistent, never puts a foot wrong. That's my first choice. Who's yours?
It's a toss-up between him. I got only one defensive midfielder. It's a toss-up between him and Declan Rice. And I picked Declan Rice. For the fact that he's a more two-way midfielder, both good at going forward, starting off attacks, and also being a defensive shield behind in front of the West Ham defense. And since I have John Stones who can act as a defensive midfielder, I don't need another defensive midfielder. So just one defensive midfielder, Declan Rice for me.
Well, to save time, he's my other defensive midfielder because he won the first trophy as captain for the Hammers since 1980.
Hey.
That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Right, what do you think of those two first? Any disagreements or agreements?
I'm fine with those.
You okay with that?
Okay with that.
All right, let's move. We're going to have a difference now because you've obviously got an extra midfielder than me.
So who are your...
You want to do all three?
Yeah,
I got all three. Right. So my three in attack are Kevin De Bruyne, Saka, Odegaard. Oh, gosh. Right? De Bruyne, Saka. You got the same players.
Got the same players.
Then you must have two up. Have you got? You have two up top.
So I have De Bruyne and Odegaard as midfielders. Yeah.
Okay.
Saka as one of the forwards. The other two later.
Okay.
I think it might be the same one also.
Give us your midfielders. I mean, why?
So obviously Kevin De Bruyne, playmaker, passing, supreme passing.
Yep.
Makes. The thing is that we always say the Manchester City team is great, but the biggest reason for them being so fluid, so comfortable in making all the runs and passes is because they know that Kevin De Bruyne is there, able to spot whatever runs made by any one of his teammates and make the right pass.
Correct. And half of his assists were for Haaland alone.
Yep.
Which tells you the first half of the season wasn't quite clicking. De Bruyne was tired. He didn't have a good World Cup. They took a while to recalibrate.
Yep.
When they came back in the new year,
and then they couldn't lose.
De Bruyne hits form.
They couldn't lose.
They don't lose.
Yeah, they don't lose.
It's De Bruyne.
Yep.
Once De Bruyne clicks with Haaland, the whole team clicks.
Yep.
So there's no issue with that.
And it's the same thing I can say with Odegaard. I think when, most of the fans, neutral fans, know Odegaard as like during the Football Manager when he was like a 16-year-old prodigy. And then everybody said that he's gonna be a great player. Sorry. And we all the football managers also look at his stats. Wow, he's gonna be a great player. We all try to purchase him when we're playing Football Manager. And it's taken him about 10 years before he's now blossomed into the linchpin of Arsenal. Undoubted captain of the team, and when the stakes are going down, the chips are down, he's the one who is pushing them on.
I agree. Undoubted signing of the season. I think it was 30 million. I've got down here 30 million pounds. Absolute bargain. 15 goals, 7 assists. Without him, they get nowhere. They're nowhere. They're not even in the top 4 without Odegaard. As you say, drove the whole team. Magnificent.
Totally agree. I'm very impressed with how this young gentleman developed, coming back to your recap, because I remember he was everywhere and nowhere at that point in time. So I'm actually surprised how fast he matured in the season, and also how he sort of plays a role in Arsenal. Top talent. De Bruyne is a bit more older generation, but the guy has an unbelievable read of the game, I find, and he always finds his openings. I think that actually applies to the entire Belgian team. I think they really went to the World Cup altogether a bit tired and stuff, and they came back even more tired and frustrated, because it's sort of the golden generation is the pivoting point in that. So Good choice, gentlemen.
I think they had the wrong manager of Belgium, but that's a whole other
I
story.
totally agree with that as well.
I think they've got somewhere between Ericsson and Gareth Southgate. They were never going to win with that manager. I think he's the luckiest manager in world football. That's just my view. Martinez, it's Martinez, isn't it? Wrong man.
Roberto Martinez.
Half decent manager, they win something. They win something.
Maybe.
Anyway, Saka. I love Saka. 11 assists, 13 goals. 21 years old, absolute revelation. He's going to lead that England team. He's such an uplifting presence. I like his attitude. He's very positive.
Yeah.
He was terribly, disgustingly racially abused after he missed that penalty in the Euros.
Yes.
It was him and Rashford, wasn't it? Came back absolutely flying. Had the season of his life. And apart from anything else, just simply, he's just great to watch.
It's just 21 or 22.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Such boundless enthusiasm, so easy on the eye, everything good.
Impressive mental resilience, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get to the attack now, right?
So he's one of my attackers. So my other two attackers, I'll review now. Obviously, number one, Haaland.
Yes.
Second one is Harry Kane.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got Haaland because I'm doing 4-2-3-1. Yeah, go on.
So this tree I call it my fearsome trio. Okay.
Okay. Did you work on that all day?
No. 5 minutes.
Okay.
Excuse me. So Saka is the fearless right forward. So because like you said, he despite being racially abused, he's shown that kind of fearless attitude that drove Arsenal on for most of the season. I think he ran out of steam a bit in the final parts, but every Arsenal player did. So you kind of forgive him. But such a young talent, fearless, leading the charge, Arsenal charge for so long. So full marks for him. Haaland is the fearsome one, not the fearless one, the fearsome one.
Yep.
Obviously,
he's a freak.
Defenders are scared. Are scared of him. Terrified of him.
They know where he is. They know where he's going to run.
Once he starts running, there's no way they can stop him. So, and Harry Kane is the fear not. So whenever things are going bad, he'll come up with one goal or another. So he's the reliable, feared person. The 30 goal a season goal getter. So and he's despite all the troubles in Spurs, all the managerial problems, all the things, he still continued to lead the line. I hope he goes somewhere where he can win the titles.
Yeah, I think he has to
win
go.
a trophy.
I think he has to go. Okay, we'll run down the line. Player of the season for you?
Player of the season? You can't go past Haaland though.
Yeah, I'll go to Haaland.
Same.
Manager of the season?
Oh, I think this time really, I think Guardiola has no match this season.
Ten Hag.
Ten Hag.
Oh,
why is that different? Why Ten Hag? Why Ten Hag?
I look at the starting position where he came from when he took that team. And when he took it, I was like, okay, that's going to be manager number X in Y time because it's just hopeless. And if you see what he made out of it with relatively modest investments, he brought it in a different space. So that's why.
That's a good shout. I will just about, and I say just about, give it to Guardiola, but no more. That sounds a terrible thing, but no more, because I just think they're playing from a different starting position than everybody else.
Well, he says he's got 2 more years to go. So
yeah, well, I mean, great season, fantastic. Which brings me on nicely to the worst things of the season. Just the fun stuff, the worst things. I'll kick things off. You know this because you've heard me rant all season. But for me, the worst season is the increasing dominance of the geopolitical nation states. It's not healthy. If you look at this season, it does feel like a tipping point. You've got the World Cup in Qatar. You've got the treble being won by Abu Dhabi. You've got Champions League qualification for Saudi Arabia with Newcastle. And just today, I'm reading that Wolves' captain, Ruben Neves, that is really worrying, because this is a player at the peak of his career, 26 years old, and he's about to join Al Hilal for £47 million. And that's not a transfer fee.
It's that's
his money.
Club record.
Yeah, right? That's his salary.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So it's one thing to take a Benzema at the end of their career or a Ronaldo, but to start taking players at the peak of their careers.
Yeah, that's worrying.
And the fact that Manchester United, the Qataris are still flirting with them. For me, that was the most dispiriting aspect of the season.
Same thing, and I thought it all encapsulated in one single person, Cristiano Ronaldo. at the start of the season, he was like pouting. He didn't want to join the Ten Hag revolution. You know, he was like, I'm not, should I do that? Should I try that? And then it's like, finally let go in a Piers Morgan interview, which was made his position untenable. I think Manchester United made absolutely the correct decision to dump him.
And Ten Hag as well.
So dump him, and and then now he's drifted into the Saudi Arabian league, where he's still trying to position himself as a superstar kind of thing. But he's almost to the point of irrelevance already. So.
What about you? Anything?
I've got two other topics actually, if
Go
I may bring them to the table. I think number one would be tolerance related to racism. I mean, if you look across the different fields across Europe in games, I think that really has become a bit of a hard to understand topic. That's
Without
one.
question.
And
Without
the
question.
other one is, I think, but maybe who am I to say that, is basically the role model I think some people need to be aware of they play. And I refer to the AS Roma game with my biggest friend, coach.
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, there's things you can't do.
His behaviour was awful.
But that spills over on youth and everyone around. So I think those two, for me, in football, I think they need to be addressed. It's a game, and it needs to be positive. It needs to be sporty.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And one point that ties in nicely with it's kind of quirky and it kind of isn't, that the fans and their conspiracy theories, it's too much, VAR is not against your club. No. But I've met intelligent, educated, academic people who say VAR is working against Liverpool.
Not only VAR,
right?
Martin Tyler is working against Liverpool.
Oh, Martin Tyler working against Liverpool. VAR is against Liverpool. Yes. My good friend and my agent in the UK, if he's watching this, he's a Wolves fan. He is convinced VAR is working against Wolves. Who cares about Wolves? They're irrelevant. Who cares? But to him, it's a conspiracy. So it's the conspiracy theories, which, to your point, then it can get serious, because then when you get a Mourinho confronting a referee, then he says, see, I told you they don't like Roma. They told you. And then what's the next thing? They're attacking him at the airport.
That's disgraceful.
It starts with a silly conspiracy theory.
Disgraceful.
But if you start adding fuel to the fire, it gets serious. And then before you know it, the referees are being attacked. Too much. Tolerance, respect, it's got to come back.
Yes.
We love the game. We adore the game, but it is just that. It's a game,
Yeah. So what are your best and worst moments of the season? Let us know at Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, and Yahoo SCA on TikTok.
Brilliant. And I just want to give one last quick one before we move to local football. I got to give a shout out to my second favourite player of the season. You know who it is. Weghorst. I love Weghorst, Ten Hag's favourite player.
Your obsession with
I
him.
think he's terrible. I love him because he gives me hope for the rubbish players. When I was a kid, right, going back for every team, even a Liverpool or a Man U, it's not like today. They always had one or two crap players, right? Even Liverpool, even Man U at their peak. I'm talking about the 1980s.
Yeah.
They still had room for one or two really crap players. And I miss that.
And then
they
grew into cult players because, this guy cannot play by his
you cheer them, you boo them. I miss that. And then when I see Weghorst, he's not good enough.
Nope.
He shouldn't be there.
Nope.
He doesn't score. He's completely... He looks like a competition winner who's won the chance to play for Man U for the day, and he can't believe it. I just wish Ten Hag would keep him forever.
Burnley is back. Burnley is back in the Premier League, so I think he's going back to
great fun. Great fun. Football should be fun.
True.
All right, let's get on to a bit of local stuff. To wrap this up.
Obviously, at first when we started this podcast, we thought just a lot on the Premier League. I think Premier League will be the popular topic, everyone. And as we keep on doing this, and then right at the end of our podcast, we talked a bit about local football and this and regional football. And it turns out that local football turns out to be a thing that most of those people who listen in wants to comment on. And gradually, and when we split the podcast up into two separate parts, it's always the local football part that generates the more people listening in.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot of things in local football that the fans need to get off their chest. That's for sure. So, probably this is the best thing is that our channel, especially on YouTube, if you go to watch that, is like it's turned into like a forum for various fans to talk
100%.
about local football, give
100%.
suggestion. And that's probably one of the best thing that happened to this podcast.
100%.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Of all the things we've done on this podcast, I am the most proud of that.
Yeah.
That we have generated this whole ecosystem that's like splinter off in whole different directions.
Yeah, totally.
Friends, you've got new fans from different clubs meeting each other, talking to each other, friending each other, joining each other on LinkedIn. And it's all started from this podcast. I know that some of them meet up at football matches. Oh, you're that guy from that comment. You're that guy from that comment. And it all started from this podcast.
Exactly.
That has by far been the most positive aspect of this podcast.
And then we brought in some of those fans like Eddie and Russ from Ballister Kausa to come in and speak to us. And then they're doing very positive grassroots things. Like Eddie, he has his own fan blog that he keeps on doing it for Lion City Sailors free of charge.
Cool, man.
Out of his own free will, his own free time. And then Russ does some migrant workers football league, grassroots football league. And then the more we find out all these things, we feel that it's still bubbling. The kind of football passion in Singapore is always bubbling there. Unfortunately, that brings me to the bad thing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How brave are you going to be to our listeners and pick out something negative about this podcast? I've got one.
You can't put it past those fans' reaction when Singapore does badly.
Okay,
I mean, and they do really badly. This whole season, 7-0 at the SEA Games. That's horrible. But the fans, some of them just a lot of them just see the results and then just go onto social media and armchair critics. Whack the players for being useless, which is. At least they actually put out their efforts. You are not putting the efforts into playing the game.
Yep.
So that is the one thing you also find out about the darker aspects of fandom in football fandom in Singapore.
Mine is a quirkier one, and I'm probably going to get criticism for this criticism, but I welcome. We've got broad shoulders. I've been a football journalist for 25 years, so has he. So we're used to criticism. No problem. We welcome it. The one that gets me, and you know where I'm going, is the predictable criticism. And the one I always get is, Ang Moa, you think you know local football, is it? It's like, and I was like, really? You're going to go straight to the skin colour? Is that all you can do?
Yeah.
And first thing I would say is, by all means, criticise me, Keong, we've got broad shoulders, but they go straight for the Angmo. They go, just Google me. just Google me. I've been doing this for 25 years. It's the predictable criticism that makes me laugh a bit.
Yeah. And then some of them call us football purists.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we sort of like we had a stand against the geopolitical tension, the people oil money coming in. We're saying that this is not good for football. And then the people are calling me, you're just purists, don't care about this new money that's coming in. But there's a lot of consequence in bringing in all this new money. We need to know about it.
And those purists tend to be Manchester City fans, Newcastle fans, PSG fans. I don't know what the connecting dots are there, but it's all good fun. But the only thing I'm disappointed about, to wrap this up, they still haven't built Fandi Ahmad's statue. That was on my first episode.
From season 1, we all say this. Come on.
First episode, build the statue outside the National Stadium for the Fandis. Build one for the whole family. Just save time. All right, Johan, we'll wrap this up. What's been the high point, the low points, whatever, overall for you this season?
Being the
StarHub guy.
Broadcast in Singapore.
I think the high point was really the sort of unraveling of the competition for me. I found that quite interesting, and I'm an Arsenal fan, so disappointed in the end, but I think they gave a fantastic run.
Yeah, I think without them, the whole season would be really boring.
Exactly, and I think like everyone else, obviously a bit puzzled by how Liverpool and Chelsea run. And maybe from my point of view, but who am I? Money is not everything in life. I mean, if you look what Chelsea spends on players where they end up with, it's about attitude. And actually want to tie that back to some of your observations around critique and all that sort of things. It's like, I would encourage everyone to think positive and to think for the better rather than just simply say something is not good. I mean, everyone can say something is not good.
That's what we said all season. We said that all season.
What is the suggestion? What can people do and how you can make it better? That's for me always a thing. So that's for me a little bit the season, and I'm looking forward to the next season. I was mightily impressed by Manchester City, I have to say, winning everything. I didn't expect it at the beginning of the run. And how they do that, wow, big hats off. And my second favorite would be Manchester City or Manchester United and Liverpool. So let's see how they do next season.
7-0 again.
I have good hope for Manchester United fans coming season.
That your team?
No, second team.
Oh, second team.
I got three in a way.
Okay.
But my all-time favorite is Arsenal. And that goes back to the days that Bergkamp was there.
Yes,
real
of course.
Bergkamp.
Yes,
Boom.
good team. Good team.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, let us know what you think, what the good and the bad of this season. And also, one last time, we want to thank you. And I just want to highlight Sonny Ang's comment, because Sonny has been one of our regular contributors all season long. He said, the more this podcast goes on, the more I feel that we really need to have people who care about local football, talking about local football, and basically sharing our knowledge and information together. That's what we do.
To end of the season, right?
Beautiful.
Everybody
Beautiful.
recognizes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sonny, for all your comments, and every single one of you who has followed us through how many again?
43.
43 podcasts. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much to all the team, including Bruce behind the camera, who's just about still awake over there, and Jay, our regular director, and everyone at Yahoo. And Johan, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We'll take about a 1 month break. We'll be back sort of like the end of July when Liverpool come to town.
Yes, we'll be back. Yes, we'll be back. We'll be back for his mob and all the other teams. Until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you.